Good morning and welcome to A View from the Top, brought to you by the Rush Sports Medicine Team. I'm your host, Christopher Haralson, and every Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. here on Super Talk Meridian 103.3 FM, we take a look around the world at Meridian Community College athletics. Monday and Tuesday, the number 9 ranked MCC golf team picked up their first win of the spring and their third conference win of the year when they won by one stroke over the number 1 ranked Mississippi Gulf Coast at Quail Hollow Golf Club down in Macomb, Mississippi. The event was hosted by Southwest Mississippi Community College. The Eagles will play in the MACCC event number 5 Sunday and Monday at the Dancing Rabbit Golf Club in Philadelphia, Mississippi. That tournament is hosted by East Central Community College. MCC softball has started off hot this season, 8-4, after going 4-0 in the JUCO Classic over at Quarry Park in Brandon this past weekend. That event was hosted by Hines Community College. The Lady Eagles defeated Calhoun Community College, Parkland Community College, Coastal Alabama North, and Kaskaskia Community College. We'll talk later in the show with head coach Faith Robinson just about how Lady Eagles doing in their hot start and what she attributes some of that to. MCC tennis continues its hot streak. They've won 5 straight conference matches, including sweeping Holmes 18-0 yesterday out at Northeast Park. They went down to Southwest Monday and won 16 out of 18 courts versus the Bears. Today they're up in New Albany as they'll play a double match. They'll play Blue Mountain at 12:30, and then immediately following that they'll play Northeast Mississippi Community College. Coach T.J. Carter has done a great job, and they're on fire right now, winning. They hadn't lost in over a month in conference play. The number 15 ranked MCC Eagles men's indoor track team heads out Friday to the NJCAA National Championships. They've got several men that have qualified to run in the national championship, so they'll be out there in Pittsburgh, Kansas, competing for a national title. The number 7 ranked MCC baseball team picked up a sweep over Coastal Alabama East yesterday. They won 17-5 and 8-0 over the Warhawks. Comes on the heels of going down to Pensacola State and splitting 4 games with the Pirates this past weekend. The Eagles are back in action Sunday at Skaggs Field at 1 o'clock as they host the number 9 ranked Lansing Community College. MCC Lady Eagles basketball wrapped up their season Monday night down at Southwest as they fell in the first round of the Region 23 tournament. They dropped a close one. They were right there in it all the way, but they dropped it 59-54. The Lady Eagles had a great season making the region tournament. Came up just a little bit short there at the end. But the story of the day and the story of the week has been the men's basketball team. Last night they pulled off the 17-point win over Jones College. They beat them 67-50 in the Graham Gymnasium, secured a spot in the Final Four of the Region 23 Championship Tournament. That'll start Friday night at 5:30 at Mississippi College. The Eagles will get a chance at redemption against the Northeast Mississippi Community College Tigers. Last week in the MAC tournament, the conference tournament down at Pearl River, in the second round, the Eagles got matched up with Northeast. And for the second time this season, the Tigers hit a shot with just a few seconds left to beat the Eagles. They hit a three-pointer with 7 seconds to go to take the 1-point win over the Eagles down at Pearl River this past week. So I'm sure the Eagles are excited to get back on the court and get to see the Tigers for the third time. Early in January, when the Tigers came down for the conference matchup, similar to the tournament, they hit a three-pointer with 0.7 seconds to go to get a 2-point win over the Eagles. So I think MCC's got something in store for Northeast. Third time's going to be the charm. They're going to go down there to Mississippi College and get the win, hopefully, and get into the championship of the Region 23 tournament for a shot to go out to Kansas for the national tournament. Coach Robinson was lucky enough to be on the book last night for the game, and it was a great game just to see Coach James Green's Eagles come back and beat Jones and beat him handily. After early in the season they came into the Graham Gymnasium, both teams undefeated. Jones handed us our first loss of the season way back in December, I think, and so it was good redemption for Coach Green and the Eagles to get back. Beating Jones to secure a spot in the Final Four. Tell me what you thought about the game last night.
I was really pumped to see the guys come back out in the second half and play ball like they have played since we've been back in January. They have beat several teams by several points, and so I was really proud of them, and you could tell that our game shifted. We started playing MCC ball and speeding our transitions and everything up. And so it was really, really fun watching the guys take Jones last night by that many points.
Yeah, I think early when they came in, we were both undefeated, and it was a lot of build up on the game. And Jones did something that night that really hurt us, is they really slowed the game down, and they would walk the ball up the court and get into this slow half-court offense. And it really took us out of our offense because we like to get out in transition and run and push the ball. And when they walked it up the court and just took all the air out of the game and all the emotion, it really played against us. And they didn't do that last night. I don't know if they just tried to get away from that or if we forced the issue. But they really did a good job of getting out in transition and getting some easy buckets. Well, look, we're going to take a quick break as you're listening to A View from the Top, brought to you by the Rush Sports Medicine Team. When we come back, we'll talk MCC softball with head coach Faith Robinson. Welcome back to A View from the Top, brought to you by the Rush Sports Medicine Team. I'm your host, Christopher Haralson, and this morning I'm joined by head softball coach Faith Robinson. Coach, good morning. Thank you for joining me again.
Good morning.
So 8-4, we're off to a pretty hot start this season. Kind of tell me what do you attribute such a hot start to this year?
The girls have worked really hard in the fall to get to this point, and definitely our offense is pretty spectacular this season. 1 through 9, we can bat, bringing girls off the bench, pinch hitting. They're getting the big hits. So I think our offense is just really what's going to carry us throughout the season.
Right. So when you were on a couple weeks ago, I did a little foreshadowing. I didn't tell you about it, but I tried to say that Emily Slade hit a walk-off home run last year. And I was wrong. That was Carolyn Robertson. But luckily, by just talking it into existence, the first game of the year, here we come up in the bottom of the 7th, trailing Bishop State. And who comes to the plate but Emily Slade and hits the walk-off home run. So while I may have been a couple of weeks ahead of her walk-off home run, I want to say congratulations to Emily on getting the walk-off home run. And she has been the surprise of all surprises to me. She played a little bit for us last year in the outfield and did okay. Wasn't anything spectacular, but she made it, known to you and Coach Ladner that she wanted to come back and she wanted to be our catcher and she wanted to be in the lineup every day. And she's done it, and she has proven herself just over and over again. She's probably got the hottest bat in the lineup with power and average. I think in the next game against Bishop State, or on that day, opening weekend, I think she got out one time all day. I mean, I think she was like 6 or 7 on the day or something with the home run, and so just really, really swinging a hot bat. And tell me what she's meant to the lineup, just basically coming out of nowhere. I know she's a sophomore or a second year, but really coming from didn't play a whole lot last year to being the anchor of the lineup.
She did stress to us early on in the summer that she was determined to come back as our starting catcher. And, she and I talked, and she knew what it was going to take to follow behind some great catchers that we've had here at MCC. And with the power, we were losing some sticks, and I told her we needed her to step up at the plate. And she has done just that. She puts in the work, and it's showing right now early on in the season.
Right. Now she's really been good. And one of our hitters, our big hitter from last year, who's hit the ball well, but I wouldn't say she's got going yet because I don't think she's hit a home run yet, is Sydney Sizemore. Last year I felt like whenever she got in the box, there was a chance, she's going to leave the park. And so she's hit the ball well. She just hadn't got, the power numbers going quite yet. But what she has done is she stepped in a couple spots. She played right field for us in a big win in the Rush tournament a couple weeks ago, and then played third base. We had a girl go down this past weekend over at the JUCO Classic. So she's, been flexible and really helped us in some spots. And I can only imagine what the offense is going to do when she starts getting going with the power numbers.
Right now, she's a little bit in her head about just what she's trying to do at the plate, but even though she hasn't hit the long ball yet, she is leading us in RBI. She
Right.
does come up and make sure she's driving someone in just about every time she steps to the plate.
Right.
So, of course, it's not where she wants to be, and it's not where I want her to be either, but she is still a key part of that offense. So,
Sure.
when she comes up, just having her and Slade and Maya Joe back to back, you can't just walk her to get to Maya.
Right.
We just have several big hitters right there in that 2 through 6. And so with her being in the middle, they have to either throw to her or risk, another long ball going out. And with Emily threatening the home run, it's putting a lot of pressure on other pitchers.
Sure. So we've got some power in the middle of the lineup, like you're talking. But one of the things that's put Sydney and Emily and Maya in position to drive people in is getting runners in scoring position. And I think to this point, we're leading the country in stolen bases. I think Haley Stockman is third in the country in stolen bases. So we're getting on base. We've got the slap hitters or the put the ball on the ground and get on base hitters. And then once we get there, we're getting second base and a lot of times third base. Is that something that we're working on to work on stealing those bases, or just we just got some really fast girls with Haley and Jada being on the bases stealing those bags?
I think numbers wise, if we just challenge other runners to just a foot race or just speed home to first, we are very deceptive because we've clocked them before and we don't have that 2.5, 2.6 kid. They all have numbers of average speed runners, but we do work on how they attack the bases a lot. And if we can capitalize on balls in the dirt or balls in the grass, getting that 2 or 3 bases, that's what they do. So we're very aggressive on the bases, and I really do have to pride the girls for really training their feet to really dig and want to steal bases. Sure. The way they get on the bases and how they attack that next 60 feet, that's really them, and I am very pleased with how they have came into the season and wanted to be aggressive and challenge each other to see who can get more stolen bases per game.
Right. Well, that's a huge tool to have and a huge weapon to have in this league, because more times than not, if you just force the other team to make a play, they got to come in and field that bunt or field the slap and make a perfect throw to first on somebody like Haley or Jada, or the catcher's got to come up, make the catch, and then make a perfect throw down to second to try to get them out. That puts a lot of pressure on the defense, which in turn, they may make a great throw and we still get the bag, but a lot of times it forces that team to make an error, to overthrow second base and throw it into center field, and so now we're up and we're going to third, or overthrow first base on a bunt and now we're going to second, off what should be a routine play. And just putting pressure on the other team's defense, I think, has helped us a lot too, to get on base, to get extra bases, and then get that power in the lineup up to drive them on in.
We have a lot of power in the lineup, but when you have 7 kids who are a threat to stealing a base,
right,
then it makes that defense, that offense, a lot more lethal than if everybody was just strong hitters.
Right.
So, like I said, I do have to give credit to all the girls for just being aggressive and wanting to be the top base stealer or the one who gets the most doubles, triples. They are trying to take extra bases every inning.
Well, that's good when you can have a competition within the team, within the game. It just promotes, people to do their best and give that extra effort. We talked back a couple of weeks ago when we previewed the season, and one of the things that we had this year that we haven't had, maybe in your time here, certainly that I can remember, is some depth in the pitching circle. I wouldn't say that we necessarily have got the, this real strong lightning arm that's going to come out and strike out 12 a game or anything like that. But we've got 4 or 5 girls that we can go to whenever we need to come in there and get some outs for us.
Yes.
And as good as the offense has been, we're scored 15 runs a couple of times. We're scoring runs, but to know that we can come in there with an Avery Byerly or somebody like that and get out of an inning, where maybe we've loaded the bases or got some runners on. To me, that's been as big as anything, is to know that, hey, we're not just relying on one or two girls. We've got several that we can go to.
Yes, I actually was talking with the bullpen yesterday about just it doesn't matter if we have a kid that can go seven. The fact that we have kids that can go a strong three or four, keeping a team off balance, and then once soon as they start getting their timing, switching it out, and another kid rolling three or four to keep a team shut down and us keep the lead. That's all we are looking for,
Right.
and that has been really huge. That the close of the game is where we have really shined.
Sure.
With the change of the pitcher or with the pinch hitters and the pinch runners. So the coming off the bench has been just as important as being in that starting lineup.
Right. And I know to start the season, non-conference, we play a lot of tournaments. We were scheduled to go to Pensacola and play in the tournament. Of course, that got rained out. We had our own Rush Invitational where we played 5 games. We had the JUCO Classic where we played 6 games. And so we're using a lot of pitchers, for instead of just 2 games every couple of days, it's 6 games in 2 days or 5 games in 2 days. But as we get closer to conference, we've got Coastal Alabama coming up next Wednesday. And then right after that, we're into conference play with Mississippi Delta on that Saturday. So we get more into a traditional schedule where we're playing 2 games, on Tuesday or Wednesday, and then 2 games on Friday or Saturday, depending on how it shakes out. So we've got some time in between. I think that's really going to give our bullpen even, more confidence because they're going to be on full rest every time instead of trying to get 6 games in a weekend.
Right.
And so I feel like that's going to make our bullpen that much better knowing that we've got that many arms.
Yes. I can't take anything from those kids. Avery and Bailey being the returners, they're coming back pretty strong and very confident. But we've had 3 girls come in and step up between Kelly, Abigail, and Sarah, the freshman, just coming in and giving their all on the mound to let the returning 2 know we're here, we got your back, and we're gonna all do this together. So just having those 5 arms has been amazing.
Right. I know the first NJCAA poll came out, Monday, I think, and I want to say there was 4 or 5 teams in the state, ranked in the top 25. And so, as always, Region 23 is always a tough region to play in. I mean, we've got some really good softball here, but I mean, with what we talked about, I think we're right there in the mix with those other teams, and so I look for us to be in that poll, shortly. We got a good chance to pick up several wins here early in the season, conference-wise. Like I said, we'll have Coastal Alabama next week as the final tune-up, and we go up to Mississippi Delta, which Mississippi Delta is a good team, but I think it's certainly 2 winnable games for sure. And then we'll be back home at Tommy McDonald Field against Mississippi Gulf Coast on Tuesday, the spring break. They're always a tough team. I'm not sure if they were ranked this week or not, but they typically are. They were. And then Northeast Mississippi, which is another tough team. But I think it's a good chance for us to kind of, show the rest of the state and show our conference, hey, we're for real this year, and get some big wins early in the season.
We do start off with 4 of the 7 ranked MAC teams.
Right.
And so the girls know, like, right now we're on a roll. We're on a high. Let's just keep riding it. And I think, of course, with being in the MAC, all of these teams are very challenging because I feel like we are the strongest conference in the country. But
right.
We can prove ourselves very early on to say, hey, don't count MCC out. And so we're pumped to attack Gulf Coast and Jones and Northeast, Northwest, and Colin.
Right.
We have all of those right out of the gate. And so I'm looking forward to playing them in this year being the year that we take games from them.
Right. I think you're right on there. I think we're going to shock some folks. I think people have looked down on us and kind of, look past us in the past, and I don't think they're going to be able to do that this year. Like I said, just with the power we've got in the lineup and the depth of the bullpen, I think we got a real good shot this year. This is the first year we've played a full state schedule, so we've gone away from the north-south, playing everybody twice and running into the same teams over and over. So I'm excited to see how it shakes out this year, where we get to play everybody once, be it their place or ours. We'll rotate with baseball. So whenever y'all are at Mississippi Delta Saturday, baseball will be home against Mississippi Delta, and then when y'all host Gulf Coast, they'll be on the road. It'll be like that all season. But I think it's good to get to play everybody in the state, and so when the season's over, exactly how you rank up with the people in our state and our conference. And so looking forward to this new schedule for sure. Well, Coach, I want to thank you again for joining us. I wish you the best of luck as we roll into conference play next week and keep this thing rolling. We're going to take a quick break. You're listening to A View from the Top, brought to you by the Rush Sports Medicine Team here on Super Talk Meridian 103.3 FM.
Meridian Community College. For more than 75 years, we've helped students soar. Establishing the first tuition guarantee program in Mississippi, we put our students first, while creating pathways into the workforce and offering a seamless transition to a 4-year degree. Now is the time to find your purpose and register today, because those who move forward never get left behind. MCC, find your wings.
Welcome back to A View from the Top, brought to you by the Rush Sports Medicine Team. Once again, I'd like to thank head coach Faith Robinson for joining me this week. Faith and the MCC softball team's back in action next Wednesday, March 9th at Tommy McDonald Field as they host Coastal Alabama. Then they'll roll into conference play Saturday when they go to Mississippi Delta. Friday night, men's basketball, their semifinals, Final Four of the Region 23 basketball tournament at Mississippi College. They'll face Northeast Mississippi Community College. It'll be the third time this season they've played. Twice the Tigers have beat us on a last-second three-pointer. So the Eagles, I know, are chomping at the bit to get back to playing Northeast. We're going to try and live stream that game like we always do at mcceagles.live. That'll be on the White Channel. But we'd love to encourage anybody listening to come on out to Mississippi College. Come to Clinton, Mississippi, Friday night at 5:30 as we take on the Tigers at Northeast Mississippi Community College in the Final Four of the Region 23 basketball tournament. To keep up with that game and all things MCC Athletics, be sure to like us on Facebook at MCC Eagles Athletics. Follow us on Twitter at MCC Eagles Sports. And for every episode of A View from the Top, Eagle highlights, and so much more, subscribe to us on YouTube. Just search Meridian Community College. I want to thank you for listening to this week's episode of A View from the Top, brought to you by the Rush Sports Medicine Team. Join me every Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. here on Super Talk Meridian 103.3 FM.